Sorority House Massacre 2. Okay, even though this comes with the baggage of being real low budget and real corny with bad acting along the way, wow, this ended up being one of my favorite horror movie slasher movies to watch in terms of entertainment value. Um, you get the tits, probably more so than any other movie I've seen, any other 80s slasher movie I've seen. It's right up there with Cheerleader Camp in terms of girl nudity. It feels more like a Slumber Party Massacre film than a Sorority House Massacre 1. Okay, so this has a different storyline. So if you've never seen Sorority House Massacre 1, you don't have to see it to see this film. Even though both of them could connect. Because in the first film, it's about basically a killer and a girl who entered a sorority who has memory loss. She's going back to the same house. Her sorority house ended up being the same one where her brother murdered her family. And now he breaks out and comes after her. That's the storyline of number one. And he ends up getting stabbed and blah, blah, blah at the end. That one, the last 20 minutes are good. This one creates a good horror atmosphere. Perfect to watch on a Saturday night, a dark, lonely night in October, in September. Perfect time of year to watch it. Basically, the concept of this is these group of 5 bitches. Not these bitches, because they don't even show them on the poster. They moved into this sorority house at the beginning of the school year to fix it up. And they're spending one night there. The movers are coming the next day, so they have no electricity. So they're in their house alone. And only one of the girls knows the history of the house. Basically, they came up with a whole new concept. A guy murdered his whole family there. Even though it could have been a connection with the first one. I don't know why they didn't. And then when they show the flashback of the guy killing his family in that same house, it's clips of the Slumber Party Massacre franchise. It's like that killer. And you instantly notice the connection. And I was instantly confused, like, what the fuck? Some people say the makers of this film were probably just huge fans of the Slumber Party Massacre franchise. Because basically this is like a spin-off of the Slumber Party Massacre franchise, of taking that concept with a different title. And then some people just think, who knows, maybe they didn't have the rights to the first one, even though it's the same title. It really doesn't make sense when you think about it. But you could overlook that because it builds up the creepiness, the dark house, the thunderstorm, the 80s effects of the thunderstorm. Bitches in lingerie the whole time. Great script, great story. So they end up whipping out, and the murderer ended up dying. So what they do is they end up, because they have no electricity, they end up whipping out the ouija board and calling out the spirit of Hochstetler. And then from there on out, it plays out like a whodunit killer. They start getting killed off one by one. It's pretty great. Some of the plot lines don't exactly connect, but you overlook it. And then, alright, basically, so go and see it if you haven't seen it. The rest is for people. The rest of this review is going to be for people who have seen the movie. It was filmed in like 1 week, like they said. And I fucking love how the ending, how it reveals that it wasn't the creepy guy next door, which no one really bought into, unless he was Hochstetler. But they ended up calling out his evil spirit, and it ended up possessing Jessica, one of the girls. I don't know if it did it immediately. I really have to rewatch it, because then he goes and kills in their body. Is he in Jessica's body the whole movie? Until he gets killed off, and then he goes into Robin Harris's body or something. I guess that's what happened. And then the girl who you think ends up gonna being the final bitch, she ends up getting killed first in a shocking scene where the killer pulls her off with a hook, blood hook style. Just great. I fucking loved every part of it. Only an hour and 17 minutes, so it's an easy watch. I cannot wait to rewatch it. Highly recommended for 80s slasher fans, or even everyone who's pretty much a horror fan is a slasher fan. So if you get a chance, definitely check this out in the future. Highly recommended from me. I think that Joe Bob, that horror show guy who used to host the horror show back in the late 80s, early 90s. He says this is one of his favorite slashers. I think he said it's one of the best ones. I wouldn't go that far, but it's definitely one of my favorite ones to watch because there's a lot of bad slasher movies out there. Just watch The Initiation or Pledge Night, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this was JBM from Villain Radio, Villain News, Mr. Creep Show 9. I'm out.